So in the last lecture, we created a JWT config file which stores all the settings for generating a JWT and applying configuration to it. Now in this lecture, let's go ahead and let's generate the JWT and finish the login functionality. So let me close this env.validation.ts file. Let's close this env.development file. Let's close this authmodule.ts file and let's keep this authconfig.ts file open. And now let's go to auth service and there let's go to login method. And inside this login method, currently we are sending this response. But instead of sending this response, what we are going to do is here, first we are going to generate a JWT and then send it in the response. Okay. So to generating the JWT, we have already installed nestjs/jwt package. So all we have to do now is let's create a variable. Let's simply call it as token. And to generate the token, first of all, we need to inject an instance of JWT. So here let's go and let's create a private read-only field. And here I'm going to call it as JWT service. So this JWT service, it is provided by nestjs/jwt package. Okay. And it is going to be of type JWT service. So we need to import this JWT service from nestjs/jwt. Okay. Then we are already injecting this auth configuration here. So these are the two things we need in order to generate the JWT. Let's scroll down and here in order to generate the JWT on the JWT service, we can call a method called sign async. Okay, and to this sign async method, we need to pass two arguments. The second argument is optional, but the first argument is mandatory. So here we need to specify a payload. And for the payload, what I'm going to do is here I'm going to pass an object. And in that object, first I'm going to have the sub property. And here for the sub, we are going to specify the user ID who is trying to log in. And we already have the user in this user object. So to that sub property, we will say user.id. Okay. And the second property which I'm going to specify here is email. If you want to create a JWT using username, then you can also specify username. And if you want to create a JWT using the user object itself, like this, that also you can do. But remember that whatever we are going to pass for the payload, so this first argument which we are going to pass here, it will be the payload for the JWT. So when I was giving a high level overview of JWT, there we learned that JWT has three parts: header, payload, and signature. So header we don't need to define by ourselves, but payload we are the one who, but the payload for the JWT, it will be defined by us developers. And whatever will be in the payload, that can be decoded. So if you specify the complete user object here, in that user object, you will also have the password for the user. So if somehow a hacker gets access to the JWT, he can simply decode it and get the complete user detail, including the password. So when you are creating the payload, you should make sure that you should not use any sensitive data in the payload for creating the JWT. So here I'm simply going to use the email of the user for creating the JWT. And this email I can get from this user object. So using these two values, I want to create a JWT for the user. So this will be the payload. Now, the second argument is an optional argument where we specify some configurations for generating the JWT. So for example, here we also need to specify the secret using which the JWT should be created. And this secret we are going to get from this auth config. So this auth config is going to store an object. Basically, it is going to store this object which we are returning from here. And in that object, we have a property called secret. And here we should be accessing it using this keyword. Okay, then there are other options also which we can set. So for example, expires in, and here again we are going to say this dot auth configuration dot, and in here inside this object, inside this auth configuration object, we also have this expires in property. So these are the two important settings which you need to do. Other than that, if you want, you can also set audience. And again, to get the audience, we are going to use this dot auth configuration dot audience property. And in the same way, let's also specify the issuer. And for that, again, from the auth configuration, we are going to read the issuer property value. And this is it. This is going to generate a JWT, and this sign async method, it is going to return us that JWT. And while generating that JWT, these two properties will be used as payload, and this secret will be used as the secret key for generating that JWT. And since this method is running asynchronously, let's use async keyword in front of that. I mean, await keyword in front of that, so that we will wait for the data to come from this sign async method. And once we have that data, and the data will be the JWT, we will assign it to this token variable. And finally, once we have the token, we are going to return it in the response. So here I'm going to return an object. In that object, I'm going to create a token property, and I'll assign it with this token variable, the value stored in that token variable, and that we want to return in the response. And with this, let's save the changes here. Let's quickly check the terminal if everything is built properly. So the application is built properly. Let's go back to Postman and let's test the login functionality. So again, I'm going to try to log in this user with the username markwat12 and password as test1234. If I send this request, in the response, you will see that we have received a JWT. So this is how a JWT, a JSON Web Token, looks like. In this JSON Web Token, this first part is the header. After that dot, this second part here, it is the payload. So this payload is created using the user ID and the email. And this third part is the signature. So if I copy this JWT and let's go to JWT official website. So the official website for JWT is jwt.io. And in here, if I scroll down, here we can put a JWT. So here we have an example where you can see that this JWT, when it is decoded, it has a header where we have the algorithm which has been used for creating that JWT and the type. Then we have the payload where we have this sub, which is basically an ID. Then the name is used for generating the payload. And then we also have this IAT, that means issued at time. So here, let's put the JWT which has been generated by our application. And once it has been decoded, you can see the header is same. There we have the algorithm as HS256, type is JWT. But if you have a look at payload, you will see that sub is 26 because for that user, for this user, the user ID is 26. So that you can see in the decoded value. Then it has also decoded the email, which is mark@gmail.com. This IAT is issued at, so at what time? So this is basically the timestamp at which that JWT was issued. This is the timestamp at which the JWT will expire. The audience, as you can see, it is localhost 3000. So the URL, the domain on which our application is running. And who is the issuer? The issuer is also localhost 3000. So everything has been decoded. And if I scroll down below, we have the signature of that JWT. And as we learned in the introduction lecture of JWT, the signature consists of three parts: the header encoded in base 64 URL, the payload encoded in base 64 URL, and then the secret key, the JWT token secret, which we are using for generating this JWT. In our example, I'm just using a random string value. So again, if we go to env.development file, this is the secret key which we are currently using for generating the JWT. But here we should be putting some more secure string value. Okay, so instead of using a string like this, you should be using a more secure string value. So for that, what I'll do is, let's go back to the browser, and here I have searched for where I can generate secret key for JWT. Here we have this website jwtsecret.com. Let me open that. And we want to use the secret length as 256. Let's click on this generate button. Let's copy this. Let's go back to our application, and there let me use that string as the secret key. Something like this. Okay, let me save the changes. Let's go back to Postman and let's try to send this login request again. And this time you will see, since the secret key has changed, the JWT will also change. So in this way, we are generating a JWT in our application here using this JWT service.signAsync, and then we are sending that JWT in the response. Now, whenever a logged in user, in our case, the logged in user is Mark Watt. So now, whenever he wants to access a secure resource, a protected resource, with the request, he will have to send this JSON web token in the request header. And this JSON web token then will be validated in our web API application to check if it is a valid JSON web token or not, and if it has not expired. If that is the case, then the user will get access to the protected route. Otherwise, if the JWT is not valid or if it has expired, then the user will get access denied response. And that we are going to see how we can do that, how we can use this JWT in our application in our coming lectures. So this is all from this lecture. If you have any questions from this lecture, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.